Modern Family getting ready to say goodbye. The award-winning comedy announcing its 11th and final season.
The extended family moving on to a new chapter after over a decade of laughs and love.
All right, everybody, welcome to the last first, as we are calling it. By the way, 10 years ago, we did our very first table read in this very room, and then right afterwards, we went outside, and on my phone, I grabbed. Modern Family was born from the notion that families have changed. Chris and I, we were working on a couple of ideas, and we realized that we'd come in on Monday mornings, and one of us would tell a funny story about something our kids did or some sort of thing that happened with our wives or whatever it was. And it started to dawn on us that maybe that was more interesting than what we were working on at the time. So we started writing the script.
This is the casting breakdown for the Modern Family pilot. At the time, the show was called My American Family. Synopsis: a documentary-style look at 3 American families, 1 traditional and 2 non-traditional.
Breakfast!
We saw 212 Claires, 232 Phils.
Do you love it?
228 Camerons.
My family's gonna have a big opinion about it.
Mitchell, we only saw 110.
Oh,
Haley, 185.
no, the little bitch shoved me.
Alex, we saw 107. Luke, 92. And Manny, 198.
Stop the car.
And we were already in discussions right from the get-go with Sofia Vergara.
I mean, I don't remember seeing anyone on TV that sounded like me. I mean, the last time I think it was Ricky Ricardo. The character was like a passionate woman. You know, she loved her family, and she's loud, and she was, you know, very colorful. And that's how Latin women are. That's the woman that I grew up around.
I'll tell you the funny thing. When I met with Chris and Steve, I told my manager, look, this is rude at best, because I'm not doing a half hour, and you know I'm not doing a half hour, and I want them to know I'm not doing it. So why am I...
Hold on. Before you even go in, you're like,
Yeah.
half-hour comedy, not part of my
Never again,
future.
because I did married 11 years. But I got the script in the mail, and it was so well written. And then I thought, and I read it again. So I called my manager and said, make the deal.
We wrote the part of Phil for Ty Burrell, and we went to the network and said, we want Ty Burrell for this. And they weren't big fans.
And I got word that it was basically over. They're not finding you appealing, charming, funny, you know, like basic things about you personally that they don't like.
And I said, well, why don't we just show them the way that we think this will actually look? So
No jacket.
we grabbed a camcorder and created a scene from my life with my son. How'd that feel, Greg? Which I thought was very good parenting.
And I think you've learned your lesson.
Wow, okay.
That was an accident.
Dad, you have got to talk to Mom. She's like completely freaking out and embarrassing me.
Well, honey, your mom isn't always as cool about things as I am. What is with this thing?
The network saw it and said, we get it. All right, good. Go. And that was it.
Thank you, Steve.
Ed, I think, had been cast. Sophia had been cast. Ty hadn't. Maybe Julie had. Jesse had. He likes to remind everyone he was cast before me. I'm sure he'll bring it up in his interview.
I had the pleasure of being cast first, so I got to audition with several people for Cam. And I remember when Eric walked in the room, there was a crackle, and there was something special that happened between us. And to have so many characters in that pilot and have them all perfectly cast was something that was really magical.
Which family is this?
The Dunphys.
The Dunphy family.
We are the Dunphys.
We are proud.
What's our last name?
I don't know what our last name is.
What's our last name?
You're Pritchett. You're Mitchell Pritchett.
Yeah, Mitchell Pritchett. Pritchett. Chest bump on 3.
We just ran over our director.
It hurt my foot.
They're in trouble.
We're gonna get fired.
Scene 11, take 1.
Jerry, you can get a little tighter when you go to the kids.
I hope we do this show for so long. I'm doing scenes with Nolan when he's 31.
Shooting the pilot was, of course, like any pilot, stressful.
Are you ready to get your minds blown? Yeah.
I think so. Oh, my dad might be a phenom. How does he do it? We're all in this together. Yes, we are just like us four, but I mean that metaphorically.
But I remember saying, this feels good. I think we have something here.
I come from a small village. Very poor, but very, very beautiful.
Wow.
Kids!
It's the #1 village in all Colombia for the, what's the word?
Murders.
Yes, the murders.
Sorry.
I was pregnant with twins, very pregnant with twins. So there was a lot of laundry baskets, a lot of folding towels, a lot of large sweaters.
Come on.
Nobody knew. Nobody could tell. It was pretty amazing. We were pretty proud of ourselves.
We're getting there.
Really? I will take you down to Chinatown, my little friend. You will not know what happened. That's right.
We're here. That was the first AD. And she just checked on us. We're rolling.
You come into my house and you insult me and my...
I can't help but think of all the ways we could have screwed it up. But miraculously, these 10 amazing actors came together at that perfect moment. We found each other and lightning struck.
We adopted a baby. Her name is Lily.
Exciting!
So turn it off.
I can't turn it off. It's who I am. Come say hi to Lily!
I was driving down Ventura Boulevard, and my phone rang and it came up unavailable. I'm like, oh, I'll answer, click. Hello? Eric. Yes? Ed O'Neill. I saw the pilot. It's fantastic. Honestly, if this show doesn't go 10 years, I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this business. And from that moment on, I was convinced the show was going to get picked up. I was convinced the show is going to be on for 10 years because Ed O'Neill said so.
It is quickly becoming one of the most popular shows on TV.
It's Modern Family. You ever heard of it?
We shot the pilot and we were all very excited, but I didn't think much about it until it started airing for the first time. And then we realized, oh my God, this is gonna be huge.
What makes Modern Family appeal to so many people?
The show is so incredibly funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. Just a blast. I don't know how I ended up in this position, but it's been really fun.
It was a hit right from the beginning. And I don't know if there could be another Modern Family today because there are so few shows that collect and unite people like this one.
The compliment I always loved is, it's like you have a camera in my house.
That's the one show that my whole family can watch. You know, my 10-year-old sits down with me, my kid in college, he won't give me the time of day. We all sit down and watch it together.
Watching Modern Family with my wife.
The Romney family, it was their favorite show.
Modern Family.
And it was the Obamas' favorite show.
Malia and Sasha love that show.
And when I heard that, I thought, that's remarkable. That show really spoke to both sides.
The best in primetime TV were honored at the Emmy Awards last night in Los Angeles. The big winners, Modern Family.
Modern Family! Modern Family.
Modern Family, the mockumentary about a dysfunctionally funny family, took home top comedy prize.
It's amazing, and this is like the most important day of my life right now.
I made it through a 20-something year career very skillfully avoiding getting any award whatsoever. And I will say that getting awards is so much better.
But the year we won our 5th Emmy Award, there was a collective groan in the audience. So people are like, oh God, not again.
Welcome back to the Modern Family Awards.
So at that point, we're like, we'll try not to win next year. Just please don't be mad at us.
Hey guys, you know that picture I showed? Let's recreate it right now. Can we do that? Okay. Let me see what leaning into his shoulder. Yeah, that's all.
This is the end of an era for us. 11 years is such a huge part of anyone's life.
Okay, here we go. Let's just take a bunch of these.
Ending that is, it's hard to think about.
Kill, pick,
joking? Margaritas, you guys, these guys.
Stop it.
Pepper saltsman.
When the show is a successful show, it's easy
I commanded a circus.
to get really good actors.
Oh my God, you're Ray Liotta.
Wow. Billy D. Williams? I'm a huge fan.
Because they want to do funny parts and they want to
Watch and be amazed.
enjoy some good writing.
I walk 5 miles a day, and I've had a tremendous amount of plastic surgery.
Modern Family was a class act, and people wanted to come play.
I am the evil boy king, and I want your heads.
It's a Katrina car.
He's like the least gay person I have ever met.
Have you ever touched the smooth, taut skin of a 48-year-old woman? About to ask you the same thing.
He's the winner. When I got invited to become part of the show, I was thrilled. And I was also a little bit nervous.
Wow, that's close.
This was the biggest and best party in town, and everyone at that party knew it.
Bimar. And action.
He's here! He's here!
Haley, get in here.
I'm good, thanks.
No, we're not gonna let go of each other until you get in here.
Haley, get in the hug. Come on.
Sure, but who needs a hug when you can milkshake?
The virtue of the style of the show is the simplicity it creates keeps everything fresh and funny for the actors. And I would hear stories where it was like the envy of other shows on the lot because, oh, Modern Family finished by lunch again.
All right, here we go, guys. Trey, you good?
Yeah, ready.
Here we go. Lock it up on sound, please.
The show moves fast. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I mean, it's probably the fastest run single camera show there is.
Okay, here we go.
We'll do a quick rehearsal. We show it to the crew.
Hey guys, I need a 10-20 of your please.
They light, and then as soon as the cast comes back in, we start shooting. When you walk on the set of Modern Family, it is a team. It is a family. We all want to make this, every single episode, as good as it can be.
I think it's definitely funner to play the way that we shoot. It helps the comedy because you do feel like you've got time to improvise and do multiple takes.
You're doing it.
Everybody around you, if you're going to try some alts or something at the end of the day is 3 in the afternoon or maybe 6, you know, people are still fine. They're like, yeah, try new stuff. But sometimes I've been on a film set and it's 2 in the morning and you're like, I've got an idea for a new line and you're getting this like from the boom guy, just like, damn it. It's never funny. It's not going to be funnier.
I cannot believe that there are 3 active documentaries right now.
It's the most meta thing that's
I don't
ever
understand.
existed.
There's a documentary
of a documentary
on the show that's a documentary. Okay.
This show, Modern Family, is so beloved by so many Americans. Are you and Ty still getting along?
No.
No?
I'd like to discuss it right now. No, we get along famously. Yeah, no, we are fantastic
He seems
together.
like the nicest guy in the whole
He
world.
is. He makes me feel bad for most of what I do.
Actron 2000.
Ty is one of those magical beasts. He's not only a good person. He's funny, he's serious, he's soulful, he's kind. He's just the greatest. And Ty will always surprise me with what comes out of his mouth or what he's gonna do with his body.
Of course. Power of social. I'm just, no,
Is that
my
your
stomach.
stomach?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was an amazing sound. It really.
Hold for Ty's stomach, please.
Holding.
Holding for Ty's digestive tract. Like as soon as they say action, it's always fun. I've never had a bad time doing a scene on this show, unless it's physically painful. And even that, I'm weird. I like that. I like falling. Oh!
Wait now.
Oh God! Ew! Oh no! Also, it took him about 6 years to let me know in a very gentle way I needed to stop talking right before takes. Okay. Okay. I'd be talking, action, and he's like, it's impossible. I'm ready. Okay. Go ahead. So I owe him probably 6 years of scenes. No, it's fine.
From the very beginning, we both were working hard to be a good work partner. And I think and I hope that that translates, you know, that the fact that we do actually trust each other and know each other pretty well. But if we didn't, it would show. We've seen the best and worst of each other in 11 years, and I just feel lucky to have had a work partner like that. I'm feeling a little bit of melancholy as this comes to an end because I know these last few episodes it's going to be harder to just really try to do the show.
I miss this.
Me too.
The show has sort of ruined me in the best way because it has been the best job of my life.
I love you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Just make our way past all the set deck stuff. And right outside of the set deck department is the Dunphy house. So this is where Phil, Claire, Haley, Alex, and Luke live, and now Dylan and the twins live here as well. A lot of people ask me, which step is the broken step?
Fix that step.
And the answer to that is nobody really knows.
Fix that step.
Ty, I personally think he just tripped up the steps, and he's such a great actor that it made it into the show. And then throughout the series, he constantly makes references to, oh, I gotta fix that step.
Gotta fix that step.
This is their kitchen. Everything in here is completely practical. No matter what you try and open, there will be something in there. I do always like to point out that things have expired in 2010. They basically stocked this fridge and then never looked back.
Rats. Somebody had a party here over the weekend and I guess took a notch out of the floor, so I'm gonna get my best painter on it. It's Rod Stewart. I don't know if you guys realize that.
This is tinted wax, made for furniture, but it serves a purpose here. I've been the lead painter on the show since season 2. I remember at the time, I hate to admit it, but I hadn't heard of the show. But my daughter was a huge fan. So she said, Dad, you better take this thing because it's gonna go far. 10 years later, and she was absolutely right.
5 or less, I'll call you when the van's here. Today is a very jam-packed day, what I call almost a full family day where I have every actor except for the 3 Dunphy kids. So it's just one big domino dance around, but I've been doing it long enough that I feel as calm and cool as I possibly can doing it. Thank you very, very much, Erica. Here's your breakfast here. I had to drop off Ed's breakfast. He gets a fried egg on sourdough with lettuce, mayo, and cheese. It's been the same for 9 years. Literally everyone gets the same breakfast for 9 years.
Like I had his backpack.
With the show ending, it's a very heavy feeling because normally it's just a job and you walk away. But even if we all come back as a crew together, it will never be this. And a big part of that was them. So, yes, sir. Copy. Give me 1 second, guys. Be right back.
Okay, let's just talk about the Mitch Cam thing first. Let's talk about what worked and what didn't.
While I know all the writers have been thinking about the ending and dreaming about it and planning for it, I do think that they're in a place right now that is, in a good way, panicky.
The first joke, it feels like it's like...
I know, it feels weird.
Yeah, clock is ticking down.
Sounds weird too, though. I'm not sure it's gonna get us a laugh out of that, maybe.
One of the benefits of this writer's room is so many of us have been there from the beginning. We know each other so well, and we trust each other. And we are a bunch of overachievers who want A's all the time.
This writer's room, year in and year out, broke 24 episodes a season. And that's unheard of now. I mean, they've demonstrated that it can be done and you don't sacrifice quality.
6 minutes of sleep. I think that's okay. I had 6 minutes of sleep. And we worked hard to, not great, okay, but keep pushing ourselves and to be more and more ambitious with episodes. That's where some of the most outrageous, inventive things come from in a comedy room.
How fun for you. Cameron made a little mistake.
That's funny. You know, a door closes.
And a window opens. But should we answer it?
You don't answer windows.
Oh, how fun for you. Cam made a little mistake.
Our best episodes have come from the writers having experienced something. We start with that.
We all revealed such awful stuff about ourselves, our spouses, children, anything to come up with a story.
Like, I remember pitching the episode where Mitch and Cam came out at the same time in the same outfit.
You did it again.
My partner and I have done that thousands of times.
Lily, it's time to play Who Wore It Best.
I had to reveal that once when I was a guest at a very close friend's house, I spilled red wine on a carpet.
My mom has to take an airplane pill in order to come visit me in California. She's back east. And it makes her a little loopy.
It's time to take that special flying medicine Ronaldo gave us.
What does cuidado mean?
I think it means sleep tight.
Oh, well, cheers.
Cuidado.
But we did an episode where Mitch and Cam take an airplane pill, but their flight is grounded. So they're kind of roaming the airport on an airplane pill, which happened to us.
I'm gonna follow you. Okay.
And we actually lost my mom at one point.
Knew it. Instinct.
And we found her trying to buy handfuls of hats. And so when we were breaking the episode, we were like, what do you do on an airplane pill? And I said, well, I know you go and try to buy a ton of hats.
There's a saying that's been going around for a few years that if you're happy on set, well, are you as happy as Eric on a FSBO day? Because that's happy. I think this will be the last time, for sure. This will be it for FSBO. Okay.
On this show.
How big is my face that I need this much moisturizer? Well, when we were shooting the pilot, I had said, you know, I had wanted to be a clown and performed as a clown as a kid, and I had auditioned for Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College. And Chris Lloyd was like, we're gonna need to see pictures of that. I didn't realize it was gonna make it into the show.
Wow, is that you, Uncle Cam?
No, I'm Fizbo the Clown. I don't know who this Uncle Cam is, but he sure sounds handsome, doesn't he?
Hey, howdy, life partner. I love putting the makeup on. I love the costume. There's a line in the show where Cam says, I've known I wanted to be a clown since I found out clowns were just people with makeup. That's absolutely how I decided Eric Stonestreet wanted to be a clown. And I said, look, if I'm going to do this, it's gotta be right. I want it the way I want it. Steve's like, you have control over the clown.
No reason for a mirror if you're on selfie mode.
That's so not accurate. I would be applying the makeup in a mirror. Have you not seen an episode of Fizbo the Clown? Have you watched any of the show? The notion that I had hung up the clown dream, and it all came full circle. Okay, guys, hey, it's me again. Now, remember when you're applying makeup to the mouth region, you don't want to overdo it. You're doing tricks, not turning them. You know, I dreamed of being a clown in the circus.
Oh.
I never knew I would become a clown in the biggest circus of all.
But people that don't know Modern Family, what is the show about?
Well, Modern Family is about...
I was talking when you started. That's my fault.
It's okay. Coming at me with the hard questions there, right up front. Modern Family is about these 3 different families and how they live and interact with each other. They're all going through their troubles and their phases. It's just a really funny comedy, and we're all just going along for the ride, and it's gonna be really cool. Okay, well, this is gonna be so funny. Every job that I worked on, I always get the hottest mom. I always get the hottest mom. I did it! I'm gonna play outside.
Going through the experience of growing up on a show, and especially a show that is on for 11 years, is really difficult, but I was grateful that I got to do it with Nolan and Rico and to have that bond. But I do have to say, the couple years I had braces, those episodes are not really my favorite.
I looked it up. The distance between our houses is 2,443 miles.
Yeah, so on some maps, it's like this big.
God, you're stupid.
I always say that Modern Family is professional home videos. So I know what I looked and sounded like when I was 10 when I was 15 to when I turned 20. And so, like, I had my first kiss on the show, ever. It was the whole crew and the whole cast.
Surprise.
Right there, and it was on camera.
What? Ruined the greatest moment of my life? Thanks again, Mom.
And the surprise becomes the surpriser. This party had everything.
Modern Family was my first job, my first audition.
Oh my God, these cupcakes are so good. Hi, honey.
I remember my first day on set.
We saw you guys on Modern Family.
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Yeah.
I was so confused. I was like, this is a fake set, and these are all fake houses, so these must be fake people. I don't know what I was thinking, but...
Whenever I watch the episode Caught in the Act,
I'm sorry!
it makes me realize how incredibly long this show has been on and how much of a baby I was.
What were they doing?
Nothing.
Whatever it was, it looked like Dad was winning.
I remember at the time, like, not really realizing what I'm seeing because I was so young and innocent. These jokes that flew over my head at the time. Now I'm like, oh, now I get that.
My kids are now the age that these kids were when they started. Often people say, oh, have you taught those kids a lot? And I'm like, no, they've taught me a lot.
The kids really do truly mark how long the show has been in our lives and on television. Specifically Nolan's height. Literally marks it.
6 months into the show, I decided to make a height chart. Luke, you can see here, 12 years old. Also, Ariel, Alex is up here, and Haley is up here as well. And then Luke is way up here. See, he started way down here at 12, and here he is a bunch of years later.
I look at Ariel and Nolan, and sometimes I want to wring their necks. And other times I want to squish them until they die because I love them so much, you know? They just really are like my little siblings, and so is Julie. She's been a big sister. She's been a guardian angel at times. When my fiance proposed, he asked my mom and dad for their blessing. Then he also hunted down Julie Bowen and Ty Burrell and asked for their blessing. So they really, really are like my second set of parents.
What?
I just love you so much.
You're making fun of me.
No, we're not.
No, not at all.
Modern Family. The gang is all here. There's Justin, Eric, Abraham, Julie, Joe.
Half of my life has been spent on this show, and it's become a huge part of who I am and the way that I define myself. The set has always been so supportive through our best moments, our worst. We always really have been a family. I guess I'm in the denial stage. I think it hasn't really dawned on me. And then, like, as soon as the show ends, it's gonna kick in, like, I'm not coming back to work in this place. Like, I won't, I don't know, see all the people that I grew up with every single day, and I wish that I could go back and do it again.
Smell my hair. Just, I want you to tell me what's different about my hair, or what it reminds you of.
Okay.
Anything? I'm shocked if it doesn't. Do it again. What's it remind you of?
It just smells like you. I don't know.
It's Paris.
Oh.
It's the shampoo I stole from the hotel in Paris.
I stayed at a different hotel, remember?
Well, it's still French.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, here we go. Camera's going up. Quiet, please.
All right, I'm gonna enter from where you're standing.
Yes.
Oh, I got a roll cell, please. And action.
You're the longest relationship I've ever had.
4 husbands, 3 heart attacks, and countless love affairs. You've stood by me through it all.
You know, early on,
And we'll always have Mitchell.
What?
the interesting thing, I think, was that I had no clue how to play the part. Because I thought, I've never been this age before. when you get into your 60s, it's like, this is really foreign territory. And I looked at Sofia Vergara and I thought, who is going to believe this?
Oh, this must be your dad.
Her dad?
Yeah.
No, that's funny. Actually, no, I'm her husband. Don't be fooled by the, give me a second here. So in the whole thing with Sofia, I just said to her, look, you got to help me out here. You have to actually act like you're attracted to me.
I didn't have a problem pretending to be attracted to Ed. You know, and 11 years ago, he was like in his prime.
For the record, I think you're smoking hot.
I would always look for Ed's approval. Like every time I would do something, I would like look at him, you know, because I'm not really, well, now I guess now after 11 years, now I can say I'm an experienced actress, but 11 years ago I wasn't, you know, I started acting very late in my life.
You don't say happy birthday.
Okay.
We come in with the argument, give me the chess set, we're gonna sell this right now. Right now, let's go. And as you walk by and go, happy birthday, Phil.
And it was amazing to see Ed help Rico and to see Rico like learn all that and blossom.
How you doing, Rico?
Good.
You gonna do the Benihana thing again soon?
Soon enough, Yep. Ed, you know, he took me under his wing from the very beginning and showed me the ropes. Sometimes I may not have hit the right joke or I was having trouble with some words. And Ed would bring me aside and he'd go, okay, let's work with it. Try like this. And then it would kind of go back and forth. And then, you know, he would look at the director and wink at him like, he's ready, let's do this. I couldn't have done it without you. What he taught me, I still...
We can hug, we're family.
...bring into work every day. I'll try to make you proud.
You already have. Welcome to your nightmare. Ha, ha, ha.
Did I hear Gloria say, ho, ho, ho?
She said ho, ho, ho. That was for my
That was
ho,
ho, ho.
Sophia, when she messes up is the funniest thing.
You need to make this right with Shorty. You need to tend him on this thing.
Sophia!
Honey, she's had a few drinks.
When you dream about la mamus.
What did you say?
We make fun.
Is the mouse in your mouth?
And then we get up and keep going again.
I said it wrong again.
Oh, yeah.
Poultice.
You've said it wrong every time.
Every time.
It's getting worse. You do know that.
Welcome to your nightmare.
Quiet, quiet, funny times. It's important when people bend over to make farting noises.
Every day, he goes into a fetal position, sucking his thumb, saying, acting's hard.
Acting's hard. Acting is so hard, you guys.
You have a lot to think about.
It's so hard. I work so hard.
To portray a gay couple in a stable, loving home with a daughter, what is the significance of that?
It means a lot to both of us. I mean, I think that growing up as someone who is looking for role models on television, not necessarily finding them, I love that we can be that to kids now.
It smells like eternal love.
Oh.
Mitch and Cam
a pet daughter.
were this very regular couple
There you go.
trying to raise a kid
Ha
and dealing with the stresses that put on them.
Lily was up all night because she didn't have Bunny, which means that we were up all night because she didn't have Bunny. God, she must have cried for, how long was it, Cam? Cam.
Oh, sorry.
The fact that they also wove in the story of Jay's inability to accept his own son.
What? I'm sure you made it very easy for Mitch to come out of the closet.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a relationship that a lot of people can really relate to.
Let's get over here.
Now, I feel weird.
What are you waiting for, a box of chocolates? Let's do this.
My dad had a lot of complications with me being gay and can look at that character like Jay and be like, I understand what he's going through. And it gave me a lot of empathy for my father. It gave my father a lot of empathy for me.
Sweetest thing I've ever seen.
If that's how much it impacted just these two people, I can only imagine how much it impacted the rest of the world.
The Modern Family cast is gearing up for the biggest wedding event of the season.
Quartet, quartet, quartet!
Cam and Mitchell finally say, I do. Oh, save it for the day. He's the one that's not ready.
Do I walk you down the aisle? Does someone throw a bouquet? I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know how this stuff plays out with my guys from the club.
This isn't about them. This is about you. You are the one that's uncomfortable here.
Fine, I admit it. This whole wedding thing is weird to me.
Wow. The wedding episode was probably the pinnacle of this whole experience for me.
It's a portrayal that broke barriers, taking place a full year before the Supreme Court legalized gay marriage in all 50 states.
Not to start, Dad, you should probably take your seat.
Actually, I thought you and I would take a little walk.
We really had a wedding that happened to be filmed and put on a sitcom, and they gave it the space that it needed emotionally for us. And I think it really plays out in those scenes.
Thank you all for being here on this happy occasion. We're gathered here today to join two amazing people. Cameron, do you take Mitchell to be your husband?
I do.
Mitchell, do you take Cameron to be your husband?
I do.
Then by the powers vested in me by the state of California, I am privileged to pronounce you spouses for life. You may now kiss your husband.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
So your mom and your dad sing right there.
Going through it or whatever. Take as my wedding ring. I've already lost some weight since I've been married.
You know, I'm a woman from the South and the granddaughter of a Baptist preacher, and I'm gay. And where I came from in my family, it wasn't okay to be gay. And now I'm on this show that literally changed our relationship. It changed the way they thought about it. It went to now this is just mainstream, and it was acceptable, and it was on people's hearts and lips, and everybody can see themselves in a character, and they talked about it at their church, and it just helped transform my family.
I can't even imagine how it's going to be part of this world where Modern Family has happened, but I don't get to see those people every day. For example, I was at a table read a few weeks ago, and I came across the line, let's all just enjoy each other. Well, see, now I'm crying just saying it. Let's all just enjoy each other. Oh my God. Let's all just enjoy each other while we still can. And I just burst into tears at the table read because I had been burying a lot of that emotion, and I just wasn't ready to deal with it. And it sort of all just came rushing at me. And we really have been through so much together as a unit, and we have been each other's support system. And that's just what family does.
Every soundstage at Fox has a plaque by the entrance door that shows all the great shows that were filmed on that stage. And currently Modern Family is there, but we don't have an end date etched in. So we're waiting for that day fairly soon where that's going to get chiseled into that plaque.
So it's the final table read.
Welcome to the table read, buddy. Yeah. Oh, your first table read. The first table read, but our last.
Hey guys, I'm Nolan. I play Luke. Everything's come full circle. It's exactly what you said.
All right, let's go. Here we are, the 250th episode of the Modern Family.
The man with the golden voice, take it away.
Okay. Act 1, interior jumpy house, living room, morning.
I never expected that I was going to be part of something this good and special. I complain all the time. I don't understand why can't they write like Law and Order? Why can't we go forever like Law and Order? I don't understand it. Why? Why do we have to end?
Come here, it's okay.
I was embarrassed.
11 years ago, we were all feeling so lucky just to have a steady job.
And 11 years later, here we are. We've been through very high moments, and we've been there for each other at the lowest moments of our lives.
It's just so hot in here, and my eyeballs are sweating. And they're just pumping in pollen. It's allergy season, guys.
Ty's had children since we've been doing the show. I've gotten married. There's been breakups. There's been health scares. I mean, we really have been through so much together as a unit, and we have been each other's support system.
I've watched my children get through most of elementary school. I have buried my cousin. I have gone through a divorce on this show. And this has been a place for me to come. So if this is my best job, I'll take it.
I think it's just beyond all of our wildest dreams. The experiences we've had, the friendships, the family that has been born here on this lot.
The title is prophetic. It's been a modern family. There's dysfunction in a family, there's a lot of love in a family, but what the show's always been about is they come back together because they love each other. And that's what it's felt like all this time.
All right, does everyone see a camera lens?
I've never had anything like this go away. So I don't know what it's gonna feel like. I wanna just live this moment. We all are gonna go on and do our own things. So it's reasonable to say, I may not see some of these people for a long time. Some of the crew I may never see again. You develop 120, 30, some different interpersonal relationships with people over the course of 11 years. And then to say, you know, thank you and goodbye.
Okay, here we go. Lock it up, roll sound, please.
Rolling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ow. Okay, let's try it again.
Well, you're always silly.
No, you're always silly. Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
What was that noise?
Silence, craft service.
Get right in there.
You can't do it. Oh, you can't do it. You won't do it.